here to share his insights about the latest developments with the Gilas Pilipinas, Philippine Star columnist and PBA analyst Quinito Henson is joining us live via Zoom. Welcome to the big story, Sir Quinito.
Welcome, sir.
Hi there, Robbie. Hi there, Sean.
Hello, yes, everyone.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, and everyone's also going all in for next year's hosting of the World Cup, as well as for the formation of the team that will, play out the rest of the qualifiers, as well as the World Cup team. What are your reactions to this? This is unprecedented, first time in history.
Well, we've had a few bumps on the road. Remember that early this year, the national coach, Tab Baldwin, withdrew from coaching the Philippines in the third window, and that caused a scramble. And SBP Chairman Emeritus Manny B. Pangilinan, SBP President Al Panlilio got together and said, well, with Tab Baldwin refusing to coach the Philippines in the third window, they needed someone to step up, someone to step in. And that job fell in the laps of Coach Chotres. He didn't ask for the job. He didn't volunteer for it. He was asked to take over the vacant position that was left open by Tab Baldwin. And so he tried to make do with what he had. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to prepare the Philippine team for, number one, the Southeast Asian Games, and the qualifying window that took place. But I don't think it's time to press the panic button. I know there's been a lot of bashing because on Coach Chot, but I really don't think the public is fully understanding of the situation that SBP faces. But with the big meeting of the SBP getting together the basketball stakeholders last August 1st, I think everyone is committed to go all in, all out for the Philippines campaign in the 2023 FIBA World Cup. And I can see now the building blocks of something that we can look forward to on the way to the World Cup in 2023.
Quinito, give us some perspective as well on, as you said, everything and everyone coming together. We've talked about the PBA, NCAA, UAAP, SBP. Let's throw in 6 more letters there. MVP, RSA, coming together to make all of this happen. Put all of that into perspective on how big a deal that is.
I think this is going to be the greatest deal in Philippine basketball history. You remember in 1978, the Philippines hosted the FIBA World Cup, but there were only 14 teams that participated in that particular competition. Now, there are 32 teams playing in this World Cup. The Philippines will be hosting 16 teams in the group stage. And then the list will go down to 8 teams in the playoff stage, start the quarterfinals. But for 15 days, the Philippines will be host to, well, the best basketball teams in the world. And I think with MVP support, RSA support, and you mentioned all the letters, all the alphabet organizations, the PBA, the SBP, the NCAA, UAAP. Let's throw in the NBA because Jordan Clarkson will be playing for the Philippines in the World Cup.
That's right. Yesterday also, Commissioner Marshall mentioned that we're looking forward to maybe having 3 to 4 naturalized players. Of course, Jordan Clarkson is already one of them. Any idea who the other 2 to 3 are?
Yes, there is a list that Coach Chotres has put together. Unfortunately, one of them just got signed by the Toronto Raptors, PJ Wilson. So, it's a very fluid situation. Some of these players have already agreed to become naturalized players. We need, of course, both Congress and the Senate to get together to make sure that the process of naturalization is facilitated. But there are a few other names. I don't know if I'm at liberty to divulge, but, well, okay. Noah Vonleh is one of them, and he's an NBA player, 6'10", and I think these players will be great for the Philippines. Now, also keep in mind that Jordan Clarkson, if he plays for us in the World Cup, will be our naturalized player. He's not recognized as a local by FIBA, which means when we get a naturalized player, he will be playing in place of Clarkson. In occasions where Clarkson will not be available, then that naturalized player, like Ange Kwame, will step in. And I'm talking about the 2 other qualifying windows that will happen in November and February, where Jordan Clarkson will not be able to play. He won't be available. Then the Southeast Asian Games that will happen in March in Cambodia. Jordan Clarkson will not be able to play there. We also need a naturalized player. Let's also not forget that on September 23rd, the Asian Games will unravel in China. And that's coming right at the heels of the FIBA World Cup. So we're not just talking of Southeast Asian Games at the World Cup. We're also talking about the Asian Games. Any competition where the Philippines is going to be represented by our national basketball team, we want to put our best foot forward. And with a naturalized player, or with Jordan Clarkson, maybe with Kai Soto and the rest of the guys, I think we're going to put up a good fight in any international competition that we'll be playing in.
Quinito, you already touched on this a bit, rattling off a number of competitions, but let's also take into perspective this entire year coming up. We're talking about August 2023. It's 1 year. On the other hand, it's only 1 year. Other than competition, what else is thrown into that very tight schedule? What makes that schedule even more hectic and tighter?
Well, there are a lot of events leading up to the FIBA World Cup. For instance, there will be 3 qualifying windows, and that will happen in August. This month, we will be playing Lebanon in Beirut on August 25th. We'll be playing Saudi Arabia on August 29th at the Mall of Asia. Let's not forget, in between those 2 games on August 27th, we will have the 1-year countdown and the unveiling of the Tissot giant clock at the SM by the Bay. That's a major event. Then we'll have the official draw of the World Cup in April. That will be held here. We're also going to have the official launch of the basketball of the FIBA World Cup. Let's also not forget, we will host the World Congress of FIBA before the World Cup begins. And then there is also the tour of the newly designed Naismith Trophy. So all of these are landmark events that will be held during the run-up to the World Cup, and the Philippines will be right in the middle of participating and staging these events.
Okay, maraming salamat. Philippine Star columnist and PBA analyst, Quinito Henson.